Want to bring in Casey Jordan, who of course is a expert criminologist in the field, and I want to discuss this and figure out whether or not Casey, Jason Pack, retired FBI and hostage negotiator, and I can make sense of where we are. Jason, thank you for joining the show. It's good to have you. Casey, it's good to have you back. First of all, my suspicion, will you wave it away, Casey, that I don't know that what we are assuming are legit ransom notes are believed to be that by authorities, but it does seem, again, from Cameron's video, as with Savannah's, somebody is giving them reason to believe their mother is still alive.
There has to be something in that communication, that demand for, allegedly the Bitcoin. There had to be something in there that finally convinced authorities that this communication was vetted as legitimate, at least legitimate enough to move forward with that video appeal that we all saw last night. But now that the family has said, hey, we want to talk to you, we want our mother back, you would think that they would get yet another return communication if these kidnappers or captors are actually in existence and they are begging for proof of life. I mean, that's how you get the money if you want the money, because even though the FBI can say we don't negotiate, with hostage takers, the bottom line is it is the family's call. And Savannah, no doubt, has money to pay a ransom and probably wants to. So you would think that after last night, they would have gotten in touch somehow. They've been sophisticated enough to get away with it this far, no tire tracks, no footprints, so many things they've gotten right. But then why not ask for the money? So you're right. I actually am on your team, Chris. I'm not at all sure that this demand for ransom actually is legitimate. If we don't hear from them, that could mean two things. That there was a hoax to start with, or that they don't have anything to negotiate with at this point.
Jason, what do we need to know about what assumptions are made? Is there a rationale behind the reasoning that we've seen in the family's videos so far? Is this part of how you do these things early on, and if so, why?
Yep, that's right, Chris. What you're seeing is a thorough investigation, and even though it may be a hoax or it may not pan out, you have to treat it like it is, and everybody's been saying that. And the reason is you want to open up these lines of communication. You want to try to do all the things, have the negotiators sit down and brief you on what's happened in the past, what's worked, and provide some guidance and some language that kind of opens up a pipeline. And so far, that's not happened. Also, while people are always concentrating, we're always talking about this, these daggone... We're talking about the negotiations part of it, but really there's another part of the investigation that people don't know. We've seen that narrowing of the timeline, and now the people are working on that part of the case too that may not necessarily be working on this hoax or type of negotiation thing.
Jason, is there a timeline of when you expect to hear if it is a legit ransom situation, and does that timeline shift on the basis of what kind of person has been taken and what the context is?
Well, each of these things has their own unique DNA, Chris, and we talk through deadlines all the time. It's very hard to, even if everything was going perfectly and they had made contact with the kidnappers, how do you go about giving them whatever the amount was of Bitcoin? Do they know how to do that? I don't know. It takes a while to do that, so maybe that's the reason for the second deadline. I don't know, but you keep going until the evidence tells you not to.
Casey, 147 to 228, that's a lot of time in the house. How does that square with abduction MO in your experience?
Well, we don't even know if they were there for hours before that. The bottom line is that we've had rumors that they could identify what she was wearing. And, until today, I was like, well, that's useless. The color of her pajamas, no one knows what she wore to bed. And now I'm beginning to think that they may have gotten into the house much earlier, maybe even through the garage door as it was closing. So they knew what she was wearing at dinner. But the bottom line is this timeline is narrowed to just a few minutes now. This is going to help the masses of people who are working on the digital, if you will, imprint of that area. And this is not my wheelhouse, but they are going to be looking at every cell phone that pinged in that particular area at that time. They're going to be looking at all the license plate readers. They're going to be looking at all the neighbors' cameras. Narrowing the time, you think that's that's so much better than sometime between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. Now we have a very narrow period of time that they can focus on, 100%. And I think that will help. Yeah.
Just quickly, at this point of where we are and what we know, and of course what we do not know, Casey, is your gut that this was an abduction for ransom?
At this juncture, I do believe yes. But if we don't hear from them again, it could, one of two things occur to me. Either it's a vendetta, probably against Savannah personally. People hold grudges, as we know, for years and years and years. Something she said on air, she's probably never met this person. This could be to make Savannah suffer. And she was suffering when we saw her in that video last night. It was heartbreaking. But if the goal is money, they're not doing their part now. Or they're playing a cat and mouse game and making sure that when they do get back in touch with the family, they are in control. Let's not underestimate these people. So far, they've gotten away with it for 4 solid days, and we don't want to treat them like they're stupid. They are in control at this juncture. The only thing that could go south is if they lose Nancy and don't have anything to negotiate with, and then they could just disappear completely. Then the family will have no closure, and that is the worst case scenario.
Jack, what does your gut tell you?
Well, I think there's going to always twists and turns in these cases, Chris. We've looked back at
Jason,
all the things that have happened.
Sorry, Jason.
It's okay. I answered it, whatever. But during these types of cases, there's always twists and turns that we don't see coming. The FBI's prepared for that, along with Pima County. So they'll be able to handle what comes up. They probably recorded another video. Probably the reason you saw the brothers' video today was to make sure that, hey, we're on point. We're on the deadline. We're here waiting at that time that they released it. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's another video that they recorded that they would release on Monday when that deadline passes, should they not make contact with anyone.
Jack is to Jason is a lot better than instead of being called Chris, being called Andrew, which is what I've had to deal with. Let me tell you, you did a lot better than I did. Casey, thank you very much. Jason Pack, it's great to have you on the show. Thank you for this. Hopefully, like I say every night with this, hopefully we have more information and better information and soon. All right? God bless.